Hi friends. Forgive me if I'm Forgive me if I'm a bit low energy today. Clearly not firing in all cylinders today. We are running on 5 hours of sleep because Daniel and I are currently in search of a new apartment to move in together. And we were scheduled for a viewing this morning at 9:30 a.m. So of course we had to wake up at the crack of 7:30 and put on our Sunday best to make sure we smelled clean. And after squeaking in a voiceover self-tape this morning, we hustled our asses into the car, only to receive a phone call from the building saying that the suite that we were interested in was already rented. The listing went up the night before. For those of you who are keeping score at home, that is a less than 24-hour turnaround. Let me tell you, this is not going to be an easy feat. Oh, the coffee is hitting right this morning. So, you know, peaks and valleys. We're going to get through it. But you know what? I'm going to try and muster up some energy for you today because you deserve it. And also, I have an exciting arrival. Hot off the presses, or at least it was 2 weeks ago when you are seeing this in the future. I got myself a little bit of new from Shroud Cosmetics. This is the Moonfall palette. I decided to treat myself because you know what? Life's hard and Shroud Cosmetics is good. And I've been dying to pick up something new from them for a long time. I'm obsessed with the Arcana palette. I am obsessed with its frickin' bats. I love Shroud Cosmetics to an unhealthy degree. So it was only natural that when this witchy, gothy, dark, moody palette was announced, Mama had to get it. I had to. It's mine now and I have it and I'm very happy about it. So we're gonna get into it today. So folks, we're just gonna do an old-fashioned first impressions of the new Shroud Cosmetics Moonfall palette. I hope you come on this journey with me because we are about to get started right now. That feeling when you take it out of the sleeve the first time? That is a lie. I did open this previously. I just took a peek inside once it arrived to make sure that all these shadows were intact. And guess what? They are. And we're gonna look at them right now. I'm really excited. 3, 2, 1, whoop-woo! Look at it. Perfectly intact. Absolutely stunning. 5 mattes, 4 shimmers. 100% up my alley. There's a bit of a story behind this palette. It was once a set of single eyeshadows, which due to high demand and popularity, they decided to put it into a 9-pan eyeshadow palette, which I believe was a very smart move because as much as I would love to be a single shadows queen, I just don't have the patience for it. Having a really good collection of single shadows, I think requires a level of commitment that I am just not ready for. I don't know, Z palettes, they just intimidate me. And you know what? I do own single shadows from some amazing brands. And guess what? I never reach for them. I just don't. I love me a color story that someone already did for me. I love holding a little tidy package in my hand. I love creating with a color story that has already been developed and tested, kid tested, mother approved by a brand that knows what they're doing. You know, I don't want to leave it up to me. I don't trust myself enough. Every color story they've ever come out with, I am completely on board with. This is no exception. It did come with a little blurb, let me share it with you. The Moonfall palette contains 2 brand new eyeshadows, Rebirth, a rich, deep navy matte, and Devotion, a super sparkly lavender with an intense gold to green to blue sparkling shift. What? That's too many shifts. That's too many. We also have revamped our existing Moonfall shimmers. Soulstone now features a more intense magenta base with a shimmering bronze gold shift. Artifact now features a more intense golden olive base with a gold to green to indigo shift. And Night Song now features a more intense blue base with a sparkling purple shift. So I'm so excited to jump on the Moonfall bandwagon now that they have this new and improved formula. I'm not really a swatch queen, but we're gonna swatch them anyway because I have to know. I just want to see all the shifts in person. Oh guys, these are like butter. Oh my god, they are so soft. It is a wonder that they arrived intact, actually. Look how gorgeous. Thanos could never. Ooh, baby, these are something else. Here are all of the shimmers. And I think you can tell by the outfit what shades I'm going to be drawn towards today. It's the green. But honestly, I think we have to hit up Devotion because that texture, So we're definitely going to dive right into Moon Moss Sentinel. I'm going to take some inspiration from Sparkle Cake Face today. It's a really beautiful look. I will pop it up here for you. I just love the shape. I love the depth. I love the shine. So why don't we just stop talking? I know, I can go on. Let's zoom in and start putting on some eyeshadow. Something I'm particularly excited about with this one is testing out the Glimmer Grasp with another eyeshadow formula. If you didn't check out my last video, which I will link up here, I got this in a PR package from Unearthly Cosmetics and it worked like a hot damn, but I'm so deeply curious to see if it's cross-compatible. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's just throw on some of this eyeshadow base. Also trying out the sponges from Unearthly, and this guy, really cool shape. very ergonomic. Today I actually went in and used this as a final blending step for all of my cream products before going in with powders. The under eyes look particularly correct today. I think to start this train off, we're gonna grab Moon Moss and we're gonna use that as our initial blend. And as excited as I am about these shimmers, I'm equally as excited about the mattes, because there's one thing that Shroud can do, and it's a kick-ass matte formula. This guy's got a lot of pigment. I'm gonna try going in with a smaller brush just to get that initial shape going. Folks, you know what I love more than anything else in this world, and that is a good green eyeshadow. I'm just using a clean brush to keep the edges in check. All right, so far so good. Took a little bit of blending, but we're finally in a place where I think we can move on. Let's pick up Sentinel next and start deepening things up. It's the absolute perfect match for the jumper I'm wearing today. I'm taking the residual product on the brush and slowly drawing it out. I don't want it to get too harsh too quickly. It's the depth for me though. That's nice. Yeah, these mattes don't mess around, so I'm going in very small increments. Going back into Moon Moss just to reinforce that lighter tone on top especially. Just for a little added shape, I'm going to go back into Moon Moss and kind of sketch out the inner crease as well. All right, I think we're gonna start diving into some shimmers, folks, so hold on your butts. Ooh, let's test it out. Just taking it off the back of my hand and tapping it with my finger right onto the lid. Oh God, that stuff is real tacky. It's like when you use spirit gum and the more you tap it, the tackier the texture gets. It's wild. First things first, I think Artifact is going to go right here. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh, that is dumb. That is stupid. Oh my God. It's so good. No notes. 10 out of 10. This is just silly. It is silly how good this is. Hold on. Oh, zooey mama. Bitch, how dare you? And I'm just patting that out around the edges so that it diffuses softly so you can get all of that shimmer and shine without any harsh edges. The way these two blend together is actually kind of insane. It is kind of freaking my bean a little bit. They really work together though. The shifts in these shadows almost form a gradient into each other. Bonkers. I am a swamp queen. Going back into Sentinel for that blend around the edge. I will say these eyeshadows are already producing fallout. Like, the particles are going every which way from Sunday, even with a glitter primer. That's something to consider. Am I gonna excuse it because it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen? Sure, just this once. What I'm gonna do now is take Rebirth and just smudge it really tightly along the upper lash line, just to really darken that lash line. And this goes really well with Sentinel. And because Rebirth is blue based, it will work with Folklore as well as Sentinel. And that's called intelligent design. Come on, color theory. I'm gonna put this down because I really like where it is and I don't want to screw it up. So I'm going to go do this on the other side, throw on some lashes, and when we come back, we will pull this all together. I don't think it's actually perfectly symmetrical, but listen, neither is my face. So we're just gonna roll with it. All right, other side is ostensibly done. Lashes are on. These are a pair of Likely lashes in the movie style Anxious Angel. I chopped a pair in half and I used them as a little half lash, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I always want to like half lashes because I love it when other makeup artists use them. For some reason, I feel like they just always kind of look droopy on me. They're kind of growing on me. I just wanted to really accentuate that winged out shape, but of course one is always droopier than the other. That's just how it be sometimes. Yeah, I don't know if these shapes are in any way similar at all, but you know what? I think it's close enough for government work that I can not worry about it anymore. But you know I will actually worry about it for the rest of this video. My waterline combo is the ColourPop X Raw Beauty Christie collab in Spare Time with a little bit of NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk thrown in on the inner third. I didn't want it to be super dark today for some unknowable reason. Call me crazy. I'm still not over these shimmers. We'll talk about it at the end, but I can't stop looking at them. But let's continue, shall we? We have to figure out the rest of this face. See, you see how sharp this one is? You see how not sharp this one is? How? The cream blush I used for my base today was Sandy Cheeks from Melt. I always like to add a little bit under all my powder, you know, to give me that extra boost. But I think I want to cool it down in the blush department just to sort of tie in that lavender shift. And normally in this situation, I think I would go with a purely lilac blush, but I'm going out tonight and I don't really want to make that kind of statement with my makeup. I'm just kind of going out to see a show. I'm not there to parade my makeup. So I want to keep things a bit more low key today, although this highlighter might come into play. So I think we're just going to go in with a combination of Unearthly single blushes. I feel like we have some nice muted tones in here that we can dip into. This guy right here in particular, she's in the shade Hazy, and I think that's going to work beautifully. All right, let's tap into Hazy and see what happens. Ooh. That's a lot of pigment right off the bat. She's a little more saturated than what I was going for. I don't hate it, but it's definitely more on the pink side than it is on the mauvey dusty side. Let's go in with just a skosh of Pat McGrath just to tone it down a little bit. All right, there are a few highlighters that are contenders right now. One of them is Moon Cruiser from Kaleidos, which we know, we stan. And the other one is from Lethal. Both are in the right color family. I'm just not sure which vibe I want to go with. And Moon Cruiser definitely really has a blue shift to it, which I'm not like super jazzed about, at least not for today. And the Lethal one is definitely more just like straight up and down a shimmer. Let's start with Lethal, and it is nearly impossible to fish these out, but I will do my darndest for you. Ugh, it doesn't even have the shade name on the back. I did that for nothing. God dang it. She's a bit cool toned, but I think I have a solution, and it involves using Skywalker to just go over top of it. And I think Skywalker's texture will just break up that solid wall of highlight that's going on right now. And yes, I am gonna throw this in the inner corner for sure. I'm just gonna take a smidge of Moon Moss right here. Maybe just the tiniest hint of Devotion, like right in this little duct. As if there wasn't enough fallout on my face already. Hey, remember the all glitter challenge? This is her now. Feel old yet? Nearly done. We just need to add a lip. What that will be, time will tell.
One eternity later.
And after thoroughly pondering for a long ass time, I'm just gonna go with something neutral because I can't make up my mind. This is one of the Superstay ink crayons. I have a couple of these because I really love the formula. This is in the color Lead the Way. It was part of a Zodiac line they did. And when you tap it out with your finger, it blurs out really soft and nice. As much as I want to throw a gloss onto this look, I know that's what I've been doing for the last 3 videos in a row, I'm pretty sure. I'll leave it out for now because I do really love this lipstick, and you can't deny it. It's a gorgeous color. It's basically the exact shade of my lips, but I get to kind of diffuse it and blur it out, and it becomes this nice plush texture, and it just gives a nice soft enhanced shape to my lips, and it's just a nice effect. All right, folks, I think I want to spray her down. Why does my hair actually look better when I haven't washed it in 7 days? All right, finishing touch. Let's add a little Skywalker. Says she doesn't want to make a statement at the theater. Also uses blue highlighter. Oh my god, I'm not gonna get the glitter out of my clothes for at least a month. All right, folks, that is a wrap on this first impressions of the Moonfall palette by Shroud, and I gotta say, shit's impressive. Wow. Okay. I don't even really know where to begin with these shimmers, so I'm gonna start with the mattes. They're saturated, they are soft. However, I will say that the blendability of Moon Moss was not up to their particular standard. I did have some difficulty blending that one out on the outer third, trying to start off the shape initially. And in the end, I finessed it. It came together, worked out, but it definitely took a minute to get the blend right between Moon Moss and Sentinel. I don't know if that's just user error on my part. It's been a while since I've touched a Shroud shadow, so maybe I'm just out of practice. But last week when I was working with Unearthly Cosmetics, I will link that up here, those mattes, they blended themselves. And so it's not that I didn't love these mattes. They are incredible shades. It's just that I expect a certain level of quality from Shroud Cosmetics. Their mattes are usually so easy to use, even with that amount of saturation. So I would have loved to have seen that from these shades as well. The quality is still incredibly high. It's just kind of like a millimeter of a step down from what I'm used to from Shroud. In all honesty, when you get to this level, I'm just kind of splitting hairs and giving you as much detail as I can upon first impression of using these shades. But of course, the stars of the show here are far and away, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I'll see myself out. The stars are the shimmers. From what I've tried so far, I have to say, these took my breath away. When you dip your finger into one of these and you feel that consistency, that silky softness, the texture is like dipping your finger into marshmallow fluff, but it's just so buttery. And then that payoff, my god. By the way, these two things are a match made in heaven. It is really hard to render me speechless. You all know, my outros, they be long-winded. I don't have many words to describe how taken aback I was by these shadows. That extra dimensional shine and glitter and the shift? Come on! I don't know if this already exists or has existed before, but Shroud better, in their lifetime, release a collection of multichromes. Just that, just multichromes. I just need that. I need that to be a reality, and I need to own it. Needless to say, I'm really happy with my purchase. I would love to know if anyone out there has used the original Moonfall collection who also was able to purchase this. I would love to hear your thoughts on the comparison between the two formulas, because I really feel like when they said that they wanted to improve these shades, they really took themselves seriously. Granted, and this is the only downside I can think of, my face is covered in glitter. Even with a heavy duty glitter primer, there still managed to be some rogues. So do with that what you will. I'm going to excuse it. I don't know what else to say other than thank you for blessing us with your presence. And I, for one, would love to play with this again. Even if literally one person comments down below and says,
yeah, sure, I want to see another video with the Moonfall palette, I'm gonna be like,
you know, I just want to give the people what they want. So yeah, all in all, I'd say pretty positive. All right, that 5-hour sleep is catching up to me and I'm starting to fade. So I am going to love you and leave you. But before I do, please let me rattle off the spiel to you. Here are the many ways that you can help out my channel. You can give this video a big thumbs up. You can comment down below what you thought of everything. You can subscribe. Any and all engagement with this video is crucial to its success in the algorithm. So if you have a few spare seconds, please engage with this video. You can follow me on Instagram. I will leave that right there. And with that, folks, please stay safe, wash your hands, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows? Only time.